If you blink now, forever hold your dying wish. When you set your goal, don't give up on it. Remind yourself every morning, noon and night, I was born for this, and it's worth the fight.
Welcome back to the show that includes everyone. I believe everyone's story is valuable at the end of the day. Doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. You're all welcome on this show. We are going to be talking today's episode about an actress. She's a cake artist. She originally wanted to be a doctor, and we're going to be talking a lot about love and compassion. It's really, really important to show that in life, guys. You know, strap yourself into that seat, buckle that seatbelt up. Let's blast off into today's episode of From the Depths of Darkness to the Light of Success. Welcome, Jen Gardiner.
Forever hold your dying wish. When you set your goal, don't give up on it. Remind yourself every morning, noon and night, I was born for this, and it's worth the fight.
Welcome back to another episode of the podcast From the Depths of Darkness to the Light of Success. I am your host, Chris Swick, and in this show, I enjoy sharing everyone's story. Doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, you're all welcome on my platform here to share your story, of experience, strength, hope, whatever it is that's going on. We're here to share with everyone and, enlighten everyone in the world today. But with no further ado, I'd like to introduce my next guest, Jennifer Gardiner, who is an actress, amongst other things, a mother. So you want to let them know a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I am an actress, entrepreneur, and cake artist. I spent my high school years actually wanting to be a doctor. That was influence of my Uncle Ross. He was a doctor, and I really was into medicine all through grade school and through high school. And it sort of took a 180 turn around the age of 19, 20 when I got pregnant early. And I was in a Michael's craft store with my mom looking for something to do while I was off for the last part of my pregnancy. And we started taking a cake decorating course together. So that turned into a hobby, which then turned into a career because I had friends and family then start to order cakes. And I opened my first company at the age of 20, which was my cake business. So 17 years later, I'm still doing cakes, not as many as I used to. But through that business, a whole bunch of other things branched into play. So when I was, I believe, 25, 26, I started filming my cake decorating course, and I developed a marketing course that I sold online on automation. So basically what that means is that it was a video course online, and then I set up some email marketing and some sales tools that it would be automated and sold. In the stuff I taught in the marketing course, it was actually stuff I learned from my own cake business because, well, my parents are well off. I didn't want to bug them with, hey, mom and dad, can you lend me some money for this? So I was doing my sales, my marketing, like all the things, basically the jill of all trades for your own company. So you learn all these marketing tools, these sales tools, and how to do everything. So I put that all into a course to help other entrepreneurs because sometimes it's not easy navigating it when you're starting out. So I had that going. And then a couple years after that, through my cake business again, I got offered a monthly teaching segment on Rogers TV. And that's what led to the acting. So I did that for about a year on Rogers TV. They even offered me my own show for a charity type thing that I was doing, was pro bono cakes to cheer people up, people with terminal illnesses, people that do lots of great things in the community. So I was doing pro bono cakes for that. People would nominate them. They offered me my own show for that. We filmed the pilot. I didn't have enough time in my schedule to finish it, unfortunately. But when daytime ended, which is what the monthly teaching segment was on Rogers, the producer knew that I had liked to do musicals and acting in grade school and through high school. And she knew of this show that was looking for actors in Hamilton. And I went and auditioned for that show. I got one of the lead roles. I had done some coaching first before I went in for the audition with an acting studio. And then I got that lead role. The producer director asked me to come back and audition for the second TV show that he was doing. I got a lead role in that one. which is actually coming out this October, the vampire series. And then I decided to commit and take acting courses. So that's the long-winded version of how I got from wanting to be a doctor to being an actress, entrepreneur, and cake artist.
So when you got pregnant at 19, how did that change your course of life? Like, because you wanted to be a doctor then, but what were the thoughts going through your head at that point? Because at that point you had really wanted to be a doctor going up to that point.
Yeah. So I still wanted to be a doctor. Like all through what I just talked about, I was constantly doing what they call like a side gig on top of my cake business. Like I tried going through for nursing school. I tried doing dental assisting. Like I kept starting these things and thinking that, okay, this really isn't for me. I even went and did Red Cross first responder training, got certified in that, did the instructor training for Red Cross, got certified in that, and was even teaching for Red Cross for 2 years and doing in-home personal support worker stuff. So there was always that inkling that I wanted to do something medical. And like even now, there's like edX free courses. So I'm auditing the neuroscience course. I have the option of upgrading to get actual certificates. But even now, I'm still pulling in a medical aspect. But now it's more so that I just love medicine. It's not so much that I still want to be a doctor, it's that I just love medicine and the science behind it and stuff. So like when I got pregnant at 19, it was almost like I had failed myself, or there was just this gigantic hole, because we get taught in school that you have to figure out by the end of high school what you want to be in life, right? And all of a sudden that thing that I had been so focused on and geared all my courses towards kind of just went whew, right? At least that in my head it did. In real life, I probably could have attempted to still go through for university, because there's lots of people that get pregnant and they still go to university. It's just in my head, I was using that as an excuse that I couldn't go do that anymore.
And so
Now,
what
like,
was it like
sorry, go
having
ahead.
that child then? Well, when that child came into your
Yeah.
life, was it just a focus on her really, and then the cake business too?
So it was my oldest son.
Oh, son,
Um,
sorry.
yeah, so it kind of was just a focus on him and my cake business, because I was young and I didn't really have all the tools in place to mentally handle that to a larger capacity. Whereas now, being 37 and being through all sorts of things, if I were to get pregnant now and still wanted to go to university, I would just line up things to allow me to do that, right? Like figure out my course schedule, figure out babysitters, figure out financials, and still go do that. And that's the difference of going through things. Like everything we go through, I feel we need to go through in order to get to a certain place. At least that's my mentality now. Where back then, though, I was using things that were coming up as excuses to block me for continuing to try. So it left a hole in me for a while, actually, until I found acting. Acting was the thing that finally filled the hole, because I enjoy it so much, and it's still a career that I can use to help make the world a better place. And that was what I had wanted to do through medicine, right? Is leave this planet better than I found it. And I think that was the biggest hole for me that it left, is when it took that away. It's like, how am I supposed to do this with cake decorating? How am I supposed to do this with this, right? And I couldn't figure it out, of because since I was a little girl, I always told my parents that I think I was put on this planet to do big things, like leave this world, like a positive impact in this world. And here you are taking that thing away, right? Like, or I took that thing away, and now what do I do? So when acting came along, it started off as just fun and creative stuff, but then I started thinking, hey, there's tons of actors that actually use their careers to do amazing things for this planet. Like Kristen Bell has started two companies, one to help parents that don't have a ton of money and one to help end world hunger. Chris Evans started one to help educate people on both sides of politics. Ryan Reynolds is constantly donating money to the food bank. Like those are the types of things that I want to be able to do with this career, and maybe possibly eventually down the road open my own charity to help better. Like, you know what I mean?
No, that sounds amazing, but it also sounds like you did do that with your cakes, doing the pro bono things, giving
I
back
did.
to people that had terminal illnesses and stuff like that. So you did do
Yeah,
something with that, though.
I did. I tried. Yeah. So that was on a smaller scale. And yeah, I was always, like I said, I was always looking for ways that how could I do this, right? And that was one thing I added into my cake business, that I could at least attempt to do a smaller version of what I'm hoping to do on a larger scale. Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense.
Hmm.
So, what are some of your deepest values, Jen?
Uh, Deepest values. I hate this exercise because they're always like, pick your top 10 values and then narrow it down to like your top 3. And I have such a hard time doing that because there's so many that mean so much to me. But I would have to say my top value would be family. And then I'd probably say kindness, because there seems to be a lack of that in this world. And not to say that there's like a huge lack of it, but you see it more now because there's so many people that have moved online, that some bullying's increased, racism seems to be increasing, like those types of things. And kindness is a big value to me because I've always been a person that accepts people for who they are. And to see people get bullied and the racism and all that type of stuff, it really bugs me. So that's a top value. And my family's always been a top value because they're my family. I'd do anything for them. I've adjusted careers to work around my kids. So they will always be number one. They're getting older now, except for Tyler. Tyler's 4. But they're getting older now, so the type of relationships with them change, but the value is always there, where they're always number one, right?
No, it totally makes sense. Like you have to put your kids first
Mm.
and yourself second sometimes, but you also do have to take care of yourself so you can be there for your kids as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what, and sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as you get older, you learn how to juggle these things better, though, right? Like, yeah, being a mom at 20 versus being a mom at 37, after being through it a bit, like it's easier to juggle it because, like, okay, this is just like another day.
No, most definitely. As you get older, you sort of figure things out and
Yeah.
all right, that didn't work too well when I was that
Yeah.
age. We've got to change this one up now.
Yeah.
So if there's one piece of advice you could give to the people, touching back on the kindness thing, what would it be to be kinder to people today?
I think it's just, well, I don't know if it's just, I don't want to say it's just, because I feel when people are mean, it's coming from a place of possibly misunderstanding their own beliefs and stories that they grew up with or learned. Because when somebody's mean to you, it's based on their expectations of the world and how it should be. And what I mean by that is everybody has beliefs and stories about something. Like you and I could be talking about the same concert, and you and I might have a totally different belief or story about that concert. I might think it's awesome. You might think it's horrible, even though we went to the same concert. So applying that kind of concept to life, everybody grows up and learns different things, develops different beliefs based on the influence they've had. They learn different stories, and there could be other additional aspects added in. Like they could have a personality disorder. There's a whole bunch of arrays that come into play. But I think the biggest thing is that when you're approaching somebody that you don't necessarily agree with, or that has different beliefs than you, or has different ways of doing life than you, is to approach it from a thing of just be kind and understand that not everyone's like you, and that they're coming from a place of their beliefs and stories. So instead of just immediately judging them and coming down on them, maybe attempt to try and understand what they're telling you. Because if you take the time to listen and understand, that's when you can have better conversations and possibly get to a better conclusion if it's something that isn't necessarily a nice thing that they're talking about. You know what I mean? Like
No, I
if it's a
totally get what you're saying. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of your own shoes and put yourself in their shoes, because
Mhm.
you don't know what everyone's going through in life or on a
Yeah,
day-to-day basis. And like
yeah,
you said, listening and just showing compassion and understanding is the best thing you can do for someone
yeah,
sometimes when they're just going through a bad day.
yeah. And of course, there's those people that are just a-holes. But like, you're never going to get rid of every single one of those people, right? Out of your life. There's always going to be one in whatever aspect of life you're going through. It's learning how to navigate those types of people. Um, and people that aren't necessarily a-holes, but maybe don't have enough understanding of a situation that are acting out as that. That's where that communication comes in, and that understanding of like, okay, let's have a conversation about this and see where you're coming from, and maybe we can have a better conclusion, right? Instead of attacking people for their beliefs and stories. Or the cancel culture drives me absolutely insane. It's like, okay, so you didn't agree with somebody, so you want to completely cancel them and ruin their life. Like, it's like everybody makes mistakes,
And
everybody's
there's a lot of that
learning,
going on these days.
right? So everybody makes mistakes, everybody's learning, and if you just cancel them out, how are you giving them a chance to uh, do better? And there's like some things that maybe like you have to be careful what you say about these things, because there's always going to be that person that goes, oh, I can't believe she said that. But there are those people that don't deserve necessarily a second chance, and those are the people that are going through the court systems right now and possibly jail and stuff. Like, I get that. But some people that just mess up or maybe misspoke by accident because they came from a place where they grew up with different stories and beliefs, and we haven't given them a chance to rectify the situation, that I don't agree with. Like, we have to give people a chance to
No,
like
I
evolve and
totally
learn.
agree with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You have to let them show what they can do and, evolve and learn. Like
Mhm.
everyone makes mistakes in life. Well, no one is perfect, in my opinion.
Yeah. And if it's something to the point where it's like it needs the police in court intervention, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people that mess up like you and I do every day. And then people just go and try and cancel them because they didn't like how that person messed up. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about the pedophiles. I'm not talking about the sexual harassment cases. Like, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about people that may have misspoke by accident or said something in their teenage years that was possibly like on the slightly racist side, but that was like 10 years ago, and some troll went back and dug it up 10 years ago, even though that person's completely changed now. Like, I'm talking about those types of situations.
No, I totally agree with you there. Like,
Mm,
and I see it a lot with the world that I came from too. Like,
mm,
as a recovering addict, people like to
mm,
shame these types of people, and not just putting myself out there, but everyone in that realm. I see it
mm,
all the time. That guy's a crackhead now or whatever. No, he's changed. I've seen the change in 10 years that he hasn't been doing those things. You know what I mean? Like, people do
mm.
change and people can change.
Yeah, for sure. And again, if it's bad enough that they need police intervention, then we have court systems to deal with that. Um, but again, the people that don't abuse the law, but just like they just screwed up, give them a chance to unscrew themselves. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Your past shouldn't define your future.
Yeah. Well, it does for some, but not like it shouldn't for everyone.
No, I don't think it should for anyone. Like, I understand where you're coming from and stuff like that,
Mm,
but what
mm,
you did in the past, you can
mm.
change. People can change if they want
Yeah.
to, and
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
willing to, you got to look past those things too.
Well, that's very true too, because even people coming out of jail, they do have programs to try and reintegrate them into society, right? Hmm.
No, exactly. And I've had many friends come in and out of jail myself.
Hmm.
I've had friends that have gone to jail, and yeah, they haven't done the nicest things, whatever it might be, murder or whatever, but there is change if you want it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the biggest thing is they have to want it. Yeah,
Yeah, you
you
can't
can't
force
change
someone to
somebody.
do anything.
Yeah, Yeah, no, you can't force anybody to do anything. They have to want it. That's the biggest key there. And I think that's the biggest key, even in your own self development, is that when you're trying to mentally grow, it starts with wanting it. You, because if you don't come from a complete place of wanting to change something in your own self, then you'll keep backtracking.
No, I am totally in agreement with you there. Like, you have to want that change. If you, it's like that old saying is, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite quotes actually is an Einstein quote where you cannot solve a problem from the same level of thinking it was created from.
I like
So
that one. That is very
yeah,
good.
it's one of my favorites. And Jim Fortin, I had first heard that quote from him that he had studied, and he used a picture to sort of hit it home, where the first level of thinking is you're looking street view. Okay, so say like same address, street view. It's like tunnel vision. You see all these skyscrapers going up. You can't really see anything except for all these tall buildings around you. And then you take the same level of thinking, but you go to that top of the skyscraper and you can see for miles. And that was what hit home with that, is a lot of time we get stuck in this tunnel vision of horizontal thinking, and we like keep asking ourselves why we can't solve this problem, because we can't solve it from the same level of thinking we created it from. We have to go to a higher level of thinking and take a different perspective on it. And that's going
Yeah,
to
and
the top of that skyscraper. Yeah.
it's always nice to get that different perspective,
Yeah.
because you're never going to get the same answer you got the first time from that same perspective, as you said.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know. I that's I have that quote on my phone, and I constantly remind me of that when I get stuck on something. It's like, okay, let's just like take a step back here. What am I missing?
No doubt. No doubt. So, Jennifer, do you have any systems or axioms for decision making, learning, and execution, like with your business and stuff like that?
uh, kind of, yes. I'm a person who doesn't like to wait to implement things, so I kind of just like go. And then after I've gone, then I start to see, okay, well, this worked, but this didn't. So let's tweak this. Okay, let's try this now. I'm a person who likes to trial and error things. And then when you get enough trial and error, then you kind of get a system for things. It's like, okay, so I'm going to do this similar thing now. And this is what worked for the other similar things. So let's implement that into here. So once I sort of figure out that system, then I do have like a Asana setup. I don't know if you know Asana. It's basically like a task organizer where you can create projects, right? And then you can list it all your tasks and all the any details that go with each task. So I have that set up for things like my coffee chat or like web design, like all those types of things that I do on a regular basis that I
So,
have
what
figured
is that for the people that don't know?
It's basically just like what is Asana, or what is like my trial and error system?
No, the
Okay.
sauna.
Asana, it's a online software. It's free. So you can create what they call a project, which is just like a new document. And then you can set it up as a itemized task list. And then they have options to assign it to specific people, or they have options in the description where you can add in links or files or pictures or anything to go with that task. So you can reference any details needed for each task. And it just keeps you on track, because you can go, okay, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, and then here's all the details for all those. It just keeps everything organized. So I reference that a lot. I even use it for like my networking contacts. If I meet somebody new, I'll add them into a category in Asana, so that I can keep track of details for networking. Like, oh, okay, we were talking about this thing here and there on this date, and here's the references for that. So it's just a really great tool that's free to help you keep track of details in your life that you can go back and reference when you need it.
And where can people find that if they'd like to use that? That sounds like an awesome
Um,
like organizer and
I
stuff like
believe
that.
it's asana.com. Let me just check quickly. Asana. Yeah, it's asana.com. So ASANA.com. And you can get the app on your
Okay.
phone and everything. It's like it's a
Oh,
really
nice.
easy
There's an
tool.
app too.
Yeah, there's an app on your phone, so you can reference it there, and you can there's a check mark option that you can check text off if you want to go that way, or you can have them repeat. So say this is something that you have to do on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, so you can have that task set to auto renew after you checked it for the next time you need to do it. So it's a really great tool,
Nice.
and you can
No,
set
that
if you're
sounds
more
like
of
an
a visual
awesome
person,
idea for
like
people that want to stay organized
yeah. And if
and
you're a
have a
visual
routine.
person, yeah, they have the option of instead of a list view, they have the option of like a card view, so it's more visual. So instead of like an itemized list, it's like these little, almost like Instagram, like these little cards of pictures, and then you click on each one and you get the information there. So if you're more visual, yeah,
Well, if anyone's looking to, become more organized or have a better routine in their lives, I suggest check out asana.com, guys.
yeah. So that's sort of my method:
Well,
trial and error, and then make an itemized list of what actually worked.
that's a really good way to keep routine and keep things on track, though, too,
Yeah.
especially for someone in your realm and what you're doing with your
Mm.
businesses, your acting, and
Mhm.
your coffee chats that you do over on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, and it's a great place to reference to keep track of all your files and stuff too. Like if you have login information and stuff that you want to put in there, or say your affiliates for people, you can add those in there. It's a great place to keep track of your life. I don't necessarily want to promote putting passwords in a software that isn't designed for password keeping. That LastPass is good for that if you want to keep track of your passwords. LastPass is also free. So it's LASTPASS. So that'll keep track of all your logins for you if you want to do it that way. So if you want to keep track of websites so that you have softwares with or affiliate links with, you can put them in like Asana. I do. It's just I wouldn't recommend putting your passwords in there because anybody ever hacked your Asana account and all your passwords are in there, that would suck. So I would use LastPass to keep track of your passwords for those stuffs. Yeah. But I do use it to keep track of like any affiliate stuff
Right.
I'm doing or any websites that I'm on. I just don't put my passwords in. Yeah.
And do you find you really like doing the affiliate stuff?
I do it here and there. Like I don't do a ton of it because I'm not really one to constantly want to promote something that makes me money. If it's something, I know that sounds weird, but those people that constantly promote affiliate links, and I'm not that person that constantly wants to do that. So I do have affiliate links set up, and if people want them or ask for them, I offer them. Like for Asana, I did have an affiliate link for a while. For Canva, I had one for a while because I was recommending those softwares, and the people that were taking my courses wanted to help support me more. So then I offered up the affiliate links for them because they asked for them. But I don't like go, oh, here's all my affiliate links type thing. So,
Yeah, I'm torn in between that too. Like
mm,
I've thought about it, but then you're jamming this stuff, on
mm,
your Instagram or social media pages. Everyone like go to check
yeah,
this link out, check this link out. Here's my,
yeah,
10% off or whatever.
yeah.
And people don't want to see that. They want to see your true authentic self on there.
Yeah. So I don't tend to recommend anything I don't use. So like I use Canva all the time. I use Asana. I use Squarespace. Like anything that I use, I don't mind recommending, but I won't recommend something or have an affiliate link for something that I don't use. That's like what I do. So like on my website, I have a blog. And if I'm recommending a certain thing and I have an affiliate link for it, I will put it into my blog post and I will mention that this is an affiliate link and then I basically get like a cup of coffee money back. Right. So I do it that way, but I'm not one to like promote it on social media or like really go at promoting affiliate stuff. So
Yeah, I don't find it the right thing to do myself personally. There's lots of people that do well at it, but it's just not my cup of tea either.
yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong with promoting affiliate links. It's just not my cup of tea. And I think as long as you're doing it from a place that's like you actually use those products and not you're just recommending something because somebody's going to give you money, I think that's totally fine. It's just, again, it's for me, I don't personally want to constantly throw stuff in people's way for that. That's just me. So if it works for you, amazing, because it's a great way to earn extra passive income. So
No, most definitely. It definitely isn't for everyone, that's for sure.
yeah.
So what do you enjoy most about being an entrepreneur, and what's the hardest thing about it?
Okay, so that's a good question. The best part of being an entrepreneur, I would say, is the flexibility and the creativity because you're your own boss. The hardest part is that you're in charge of getting your own work because you are your own boss. So it's constantly marketing, it's constantly networking, it's constantly like, even though I'm an actor, you still have those sales tools, right? Because you are your product, so you're pitching yourself. So that would be the hardest part. But again, the creativity and the flexibility and creating your own schedule, that's really awesome. But yeah, on the catch-22, you are in charge of getting your own work. So if you sit on your butt, then, and if you don't have any work coming in, then that's your own fault. So yeah.
No, I totally hear you. You're still hustling every day or whatever to get your own work and to get acting jobs and whatnot, or to promote your cake business. You are your own boss, like you said, and I'm glad you said that. But if you sit on your ass and do nothing, you have nothing in return then.
Yeah, for sure.
So describe love in 5 words.
Oh. 5 words. Now you're making me think. A feeling that someone gives you. Is that 5 words? I don't think that's the definition of love.
It can just be 5 single words.
5 single words? Okay. Yeah, how does it, I would probably approach it from how does it make somebody feel? Fulfilled. That somebody's giving you kindness. So kindness would be one. Fulfilled, kindness, compassion, wanted, not alone.
I like
Put
that.
me on the spot here. I don't know if those are good enough. My perfectionist side's going to come out now.
No, we don't want to have that out.
I'm going to overanalyze this afterwards. I'm like, okay, Chris, I'm going to text you on Instagram later and be like, okay, I finally figured it out.
That's all good. But before we end today's show here, what are 3 things you do for yourself on a daily that keeps your mental health in check?
I only have a dog now.
Yes, everyone, she does have a dog, and it's a beautiful rescue.
Yeah, so she's awesome. She calms me down. I like going for walks with her. 3 things I do for me on a daily basis. What do I do for me on a daily basis? I like to attempt to get up earlier sometimes than the rest of the house because I find that then I can get stuff out of the way without interfering with my 4-year-old. It's just nice to be up when it's still quiet in the house. That sets me in a better mood for the day. And number 3, I already said walks with the dog, but walks are a big thing for me because I like walks because you can think on walks. I don't know. The 3rd thing is just organizing my day, my calendar, because it clears my mind of clutter. I don't know if anybody's ever done like a brain dump where your brain's so bloody full that you can't like go to sleep or you can't think or you can't move past it because there's like, oh, I got to think of this and this and this and this. And then if you dump it all out on paper, just like write everything in your head out on a piece of paper and then organize it, then you can finally go to sleep. So to prevent that, I try and organize everything in my online calendar. Every once in a while, the clutter starts to build up again, and I have to do a brain dump on a piece of paper. And again, it's just literally writing out everything in your head to get it out of there. Because once you do that, then it's out and it's here. But the calendar is another thing I do for myself, and I organize it and I color code it because, yeah, I'm silly like that.
I like that you say a brain dump. It's always nice just to get whatever, all that shit
Yeah.
out of your head onto paper
Yeah.
and organize what's most important to the least important sort of thing, it sounds like.
Yeah, like everything that, like any idea that you have, any task that needs to be done, like just get it all out on a piece of paper and then like prioritize the things that were rolling around in there. Yeah.
I like that. So before we go, where can everyone find you? You know, on Instagram is where I did find you, but has amazing content, just so you know, guys. Go watch the fight scenes. I love them.
Oh, thank you. The chick fight. Yeah, that was fun. We have another one coming out soon because the ladies, I really wanted to do a second one. So that'll be out in June. They can find me on my main platform is Instagram, and you can find me there at Real Jen Gardiner. So it's Real REAL, then my first name JEN, and then my last name GARDINER, Gardiner. And I'm that username on most platforms except for YouTube, where it's /C/just Jen Gardiner, because they take basically the name of your channel and they use it for your profile name. But yeah, most platforms you can find me, Real Jen Gardiner. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. What else am I on? YouTube I already told you about, and then Facebook. So on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok, I'm Real Jen Gardiner, and then on YouTube, I'm just Jen Gardiner. So.
And then what's your website?
Oh, it's jengardiner.com.
Okay. If you guys want to go read her blogs or send her a nice message and tell her how well she's doing, how great she's doing, head over to one of those platforms, guys, and give her a follow. You know, and if you'd like to rate the show or send me a message and let me know how everything's going, I always love feedback. So yeah, head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review and a little bit of write me something nice if you'd like.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for coming on the show today, Jen. I really appreciate that.
Oh, no worries. Thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun. And I like when people trip me up with answers, because then I can go think later, like, okay, what should I have said here? But it gets you thinking, right? Not necessarily in a bad way, but in, oh, that's an interesting question. Like, I should really think about this.
Yeah. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I hope you enjoyed that episode, everyone. You know, she is such an empowering woman, very inspirational, and I love how much compassion and love she shows and has for life and her family. You know, please leave a review over on Apple Podcasts for the show. 5-star reviews are always welcome. Or even over on Anchor FM, you can leave a voice message now, which is an awesome option too. I love hearing that feedback, guys. A little bit about the next guest, though, Kate Ekman. Oh, what an amazing guest. She is the author of The Full Body Workout. You must get your hands on that book, guys. Kate Ekman has a 17-year career in swimming. She went to Penn State for that. And she is now, you know, a TV show host. She's an anchor and all that fun stuff. But with no further ado, wait in that seat and get ready for that next episode, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.